Welcome everyone to the July 16th, 2019 Commissioners meeting. Chairman Corbett is obviously out of town, out of country actually. So we'll be working without him. If we all rise for the invocation, Commissioner Burnett is going to offer and then standing for the pledge.
Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the opportunity to come before you today, Lord. We pray that you're with us in all the decisions that we do, that we do a good job for our people in this county, that we do a good job moving this county forward in a positive direction for all, Lord, and most of all, glorifying you. Pray this all in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order of business is agenda approval. I believe we have one new item added, new business number 9. I don't know what it is.
It is, Mr. Chairman, if you will look at the agendas on the DS for you. You know, under new business number 9, we have a consideration to approve a budget amendment for fiscal year 2019-2020. And there is a copy of that budget amendment at the back of your agenda. We also have a request to table item number 2, consideration to approve to renew the operations, maintenance, and consulting services agreement with EOM. The request is to table this item until August 6th.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the said changes.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed likewise. Our agenda is approved. Moving on to consideration to approve the June 18, 2019 workshop minutes and June 18, 2019 regular commissioners meeting minutes and the July 9, 2019 special call meeting.
Make a motion to.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner Looper, a second by Commissioner DeLuge. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed likewise. And the motion carries. Remind everyone to keep your public comments, if you will, as to the agenda items as they're presented. And also, as correspondence, all documents from this meeting are located in the clerk's office and on the Board of Commissioners website. We will be having a special appearance by Lauren Lewis with the U.S. Census at 5:15, and we will also hold a public hearing on the millage at 7 o'clock p.m. With that, should we move on to the consent agenda and wait on the special? Okay. We have two items on the consent agenda. Consideration to approve fire releases and submitted by administrative staff, and consideration to approve sanitation releases as submitted by administrative staff.
Make a motion to approve as read.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Woodford, a second by Commissioner Loach. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed likewise. And the consent agenda is approved unanimously. We'll move on to new business number 1. Consideration to approve a capacity agreement with the State of Georgia Department of Corrections. And I'll turn this over to Ms. Charlton.
Good evening, Fiona Charlton, Purchasing Agent. The Board has an intergovernmental agreement with the Georgia Department of Corrections which stipulates how many state inmates the county is able to accept and how much compensation the county will receive for housing them. The agreement expired June 30th, 2019. The county has received a fiscal year 20 agreement from the Department of Corrections which allows for the prison to house 192 state inmates, for which the county will receive $22 per inmate per day, up from $20 per inmate per day last year. The Department of Corrections has sole authority of transfers of inmates to and from the county prison. As the agreement has been approved to form by the County Attorney, staff recommends alternative 1. Any questions?
Any questions or comments from the board? So we get a raise.
Yeah, a little bit.
There's no other questions or comments, I'll entertain it.
Make a motion to approve alternative 1.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Deloach, a second by Commissioner Looper. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed likewise. That is approved unanimous.
Thank you.
I'll move on, I'll see we tabled that item. We tabled item number 2, so we will move on to item number 3 with Ms. Carpenter. Consideration to approve estimated residential unit, ERU fees for detached 1 and 2 bedroom apartments rather than as single-family dwelling units.
Yes, as Mr. Beckett couldn't be here tonight, I told him I would present it for you, but as you know, Jasper Village is a unique development, and the idea is to allow for freestanding 1 to 4 bedroom rental units in that development. So in this case, the interim administrator has concluded that the 1 and 2 bedroom units should be charged on the basis of the bedrooms and not as a single family dwelling. It's his opinion that the intent of the developer was to construct a multifamily apartment, whether they're attached or detached, and as such, excuse me, the fees should be charged accordingly. So with approval, the county will charge the 1 and 2 bedrooms as apartments and the 3 and 4 bedrooms as single-family dwellings. There's no funding required, and your packet should have a copy of the revenue projections for both options, and staff's recommending alternative 1.
Are there any other questions or comments? I've kind of felt like this was an agreeable move from the beginning.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly what I would consider multifamily, just like you say, detached multifamily. Pulling up ERUs. We may have anybody in the audience like to speak on that. Well, without any other comments, I mean, I've reviewed it and comfortable. No comments, I'm gonna entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve alternative number 1.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed likewise. The motion passes unanimously. Ms. Johnson, just stop me when we have a presentation.
We have time for at least 1 more.
We'll move on to new business item number 4. Consideration to approve to submit an application to the Georgia Department of Corrections for the fiscal year 2020 County Correctional Institution Educational Incentive Funding.
Yes. Over the last several years, the prison has participated in this program, and it has allowed GED acquisition through the prison. This year, our grant coordinator has worked with them to expand this training opportunity, and they would like to submit an application for $60,000. This application will continue the funding for the GED acquisition, but it will also do on-the-job training programs. We'll begin some of those for landscaping, culinary arts and food service, custodial engineering, and barbering. There's no local match required, and if awarded, the funds are paid quarterly. Staff's recommending alternative 1.
questions or comments?
Get free money, take all that we can get, so.
All right. Well, on that, I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve alternative one.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner DeLoach, second by Commissioner Loper. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed likewise. The motion carries unanimous. Move on to new business item number 5. Consideration to approve the Coastal Regional Commission Area Agency on Aging fiscal year 2020 contract number 2020-08.
Yes, sir, and every year the county renews a contract with the CRC to provide meals to our senior citizens. This contract is set to serve 9,218 congregate meals, 13,683 home-delivered meals. It provides a total funding budget of $229,772. There's a local match of $14,791, which is allocated in the fiscal year 20 budget within those departments. The county attorney has reviewed the contract and approved as to form, and staff recommends alternative 1.
Any questions, comments?
Make a motion to approve alternative one.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner DeLoach. I'll go second by Commissioner Floyd. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed likewise. And the motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
It's fine.
All right, now we will pause for an appearance by Lauren Lewis with the U.S. Census. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, or rather early evening. My name is Lauren Lewis. I'm a partnership specialist with the U.S. Census Bureau. This is my 4th decennial. Sounds like 40 years, but it's 30 years. And I was the partnership specialist for Effingham County in 2000 and 2010. And we had some of the best numbers in the state. In terms of our mail-back response rate, the Census Bureau, I've seen 2 statistics. Some it says 79% mail-back response rate, and some say 82% mail-back response rate. But it's somewhere in there, but that's very good. The national average was, in some places it says 76, but really it was 72 was the national average. So Effingham County is in a great position to do very well in the 2020 census. And I just want to kind of give you an update as to what's going on with the census this time around in terms of the timeline. The census comes out next year. Most people will have it by March 23rd of 2020. This time, first time in history since 1790, that it will be mostly online. It will come in a postcard. The way the census goes out is by households and not by individuals. It goes to households. So they will get a postcard in the mail where they can either go online and fill it out, or they can call and do it over the phone, which is also the first time in history they ever had that. And the reason why they're having both, of course, is because this one is online. So there is some concerns about certainly some people who may not have internet access or may not know how to use their computer well and so forth. So with that in mind, they will have a number that they can call and do it online. There are not a lot of questions on the decennial census. They ask their name, their sex, their date of birth, are they of Hispanic origin, and who else lives in the household. Like if you have more than another person in the household, once the head of household fills it out, when the next person's name goes on there, they're asked how is that person related to the first person. Are they the uncle, cousin, friend, roommate, and so forth. So that's what's on the form. So those come out again at the end of March, and There will be a lot of national campaigns out there. Of course, the census is very much in the news right now, so I think everybody is aware of the importance of the census. The reason it started since 1790 the main reason was for the apportionment of the 435 congressional seats, are moved around based on census information. In 2010, Georgia gained 2 seats. Seats equate to billions of dollars, billions. So Georgia's is in a good state right now. We got 2 seats in 2010 and certainly aren't in a position to lose any seats. Not to mention now, in the last several censuses, there's federal funding that's also allocated based on census data. And in this particular census, it's going to be over $800 billion a year. $800 billion a year, that's over $4 trillion over a 10-year period, are distributed based on information. So when the lady was talking about those mills and those things that come along, a lot of that in terms of what states get, and then they break it down to what a county gets, and then down to what a city gets, is based on census information. So of course it's very important. The great thing about the census is that it's confidential. By Title 13, no other federal agency can get that information, so it's safe for people to take. And it's just overall very important to communities. I've been working with Ms. Johnson and the head of your Complete Count Committee, Mr. Rich, in terms of trying to get a Complete Count Committee together to make sure that we are really addressing all the areas of Effingham County, the ones that are at risk, senior citizens with disabilities, low-income areas, areas that may have people that have language barriers, migrant workers, construction workers that move around. Those are areas of concern. So when we get with Complete Count Committees, we try to think of ways that we really can bring it to their attention and get them on their sides to complete the forms. Again, with your great mail-back response rate, and generally, Effingham is just a great community. You're in one of those rare opportunities where you may very well get most everybody counted. And that's very hard to do these days. So that would be wonderful. But Effingham County is one of those counties that could do that. They talk about Effingham County at our regional meetings. The Census Bureau, our main office for this whole thing is in Atlanta, and we represent 8 states: North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, and Louisiana. And Effingham County's name has come up. Like, this is one of the counties that, you know, they've done a really good job. So I'm proud to be your partnership specialist. We hope we continue to do that well. And when we say we come up with things, we try to have a plan of action. Certainly from January, you know, the census is coming, but certainly by the 1st of March, you want a few events that really bring it to people's attention. Any other information they may have, be it a big thing in their water bill that says make sure you fill it out, or a census day activity at schools where kids get a free day if they can prove they took the census, and things like that really make a difference. So I plan on working with your team of people that are appointed to be on this committee to make sure we get as much exposure out there as we can. We also have a mechanism within the Census Bureau that kind of identifies areas within the county that may need some extra assistance, and in the Complete Count Committees, I certainly will be talking to them about doing things in those communities. And certainly, the way that you reach those communities generally are from the trusted voices of that community, be it the pastors, your community-based organizations, or whoever it may be. But those are the ones that we reach. And I think that's the main thing. Certainly between March to the end of May, that's when the forms are going to be out. I mean, again, the postcard is going to be out. the main office that represents about 30 counties is in Savannah. And in that local census office, starting from March 23rd on, we will be able to see what's coming in. And with that in mind, as a partnership specialist, I can work with the Complete Count Committee to make sure if I see something really happening, to inform them so we can have a plan of action right in that area to really let people know what's going on. Then in the May, if we don't get it in the mail, that's when people are going to start knocking on doors. You want that to be as low as possible because there's a possibility you may not get somebody. The one good thing also that they're doing that's never done before is if they don't get anybody and they go to the door twice and they don't answer, then they do some kind of LexisNexis kind of thing, and they would at least get the person that's on the utility bill or something. But if there are 10 people in the house and they only have information on 2, you've lost 8 people. So we certainly want to try to reach everybody that we can. The non-response follow-up, that's what they call it when you knock on doors. That happens from the end of May to July 31st. If someone's not counted by July 31st, they're not getting counted. And between July 31st and December 31st, that information is put on the president's desk in terms of all the people in the United States. So I certainly look forward to working with Effingham County. I'm hoping you guys could be 90% plus, and that we really just are able to reach everyone. Are there any questions?
What's the deadline? I know you said March
23rd is when they start coming
but
out.
how long is that period?
The period that you just will not be counted is April 31st. July 31st. If someone's not counted, and that's way down the line,
Yeah.
really. By that time, really between July 1st and July 31st is quality control time. And I will kind of I will come to a meeting as we get closer doing non-response follow-up, because some people, if they knock on the doors and they get the information, just to let you know, somebody's going to get a knock on the door again, 1 out of every 10, to check to see if people are getting the information right. Well, they already came to my house. What? Fill it out online or on the phone, and then they won't have to bother you. But if you don't, there will be some quality control with someone. But in answer to your question, July 31st, but generally speaking, they really have most all information by July 1st that they're going to get.
Thank you for the work.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I look forward to working with you. We're going to have a real plan of action, and I'm sure you're going to do great.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. All right, get back to regular business. We'll move on to new business item number 6. Consideration to approve a janitorial services agreement with Liberty Janitorial